to me with regards to the core of this, which is drinking. And I suppose Dutch courage is a term that's used to describe strength and confidence that can be gained from drinking alcohol. And that's the essence of this movie. There's a history teacher, a husband and a father called Martin, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who's a fine actor. He's lost his mojo. And as the music teacher in the same school, a guy called Peter, points out to him while they're... Sorry, were you going to say something, Greg?
No, just we've got Peter on the line, that's all.
I'm just strumming away as you talk.
Sorry, but you're not a music teacher, are you?
No.
There you go. So I did say music teacher. Thank you, Greg. So as a music teacher from the same school points out to him while they're celebrating a third teacher who's a psychology instructor called Nicolaj, his 40th birthday, points out. So as Peter points out during the celebration, when he, being Peter, first started at the school 12 years ago, Martin was, quote, a big man. But that is long behind him. Martin's lessons are bland. Greg, are you a bland teacher? Peter, are you a bland teacher?
I would hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, I agree with that.
Excellent. Okay. Well, the connection that Martin has with his beautiful wife, Annika, played by Maria Bonnevie, dissipated years ago. They've got a couple of teenage boys who ignore him as well. Now, apart from teaching without any passion, and the senior students even call a meeting which involves their parents to discuss the concerns they have about Martin, Martin does not do much. He doesn't see many people. All of that changes at this 40th birthday party for Nicolaj, at which basically he joins in this boozy top-end dinner with the three fellow teachers from the same school. Mentioned a couple of the others. I haven't mentioned the last one, who's the PE, the guy in charge of PE, Thomas Bo Larsen, plays him. So a taciturn Martin who says he's driving sticks with soda water. The others imbibe freely, though. Nicolaj, the 40-year-old, helps him change his mind, though, when he cites a Norwegian philosopher and psychiatrist who theorised that man was born with a 0.05% blood alcohol level deficit. Would you agree with that, Gregory?
I don't know. Man is driven to drink, but I don't know whether they're born with drink.
Yeah, there you go. After what turns out to be a fun night, the group determines they'll test this hypothesis of the psychiatrist and legitimise it by writing a psychological essay about their experiment. They determine to follow the course of an acclaimed American novelist called Ernest Hemingway, who you no doubt have read, Greg, as have I. And apparently Hemingway drank every day, but not after 8 p.m. Now, I didn't know that about him, but that's what's claimed in this movie, right? Now, their target is a blood alcohol reading of 0.05%, and they will attend and teach classes that way. Okay, now I'm putting you both on the line. Greg, have you ever taught drunk or with a blood alcohol reading?
Not that I know of.
Peter?
Never.
Very good. All right. Well, this works. This works for the four of them. Martin loses his inhibitions and engages his students in a manner they hadn't seen before. For the other teachers too, they're also better off for alcohol in their systems, or so it seems. A second phase of the experiment involves upping the ante and then upping it again until their world comes crashing down. Along the way, Martin reconnects with his wife, albeit briefly, on a canoeing trip. The family used to do that a lot. They hadn't done it for about 8 years and they do it again. But significant trouble is just around the corner. This is the brainchild of a Danish filmmaker called Thomas Vinterberg. He wrote the screenplay with Tobias Lindholm and he also directs. And he wanted to create a tribute to alcohol while acknowledging that people also die from excessive drinking. In other words, while alcohol can be a relaxant, it can also kill. And the question of how much is too much is at the core of Another Round. So, Gregory, you and I may disagree with booze per se, but what did you make of Another Round? And I'll be very interested to see whether you and I think similarly about this one.
Well, Mads Mikkelsen has a strong and commanding screen presence, which is put to good use here. And as Martin, the teacher, he played a teacher for Thomas Vinterberg in The Hunt a few years ago, which was a different kind of film, and he was a different kind of teacher here. But here, as you said, Alex, he regained his enthusiasm for teaching while under the influence of alcohol there. And as films dealing with alcohol, you might remember, Peter probably does, definitely, Billy Wilder's Oscar-winning The Lost Weekend, which dealt with the problem of alcohol and that. from a slightly different perspective here. But this is an interesting little film there. Gives a lot of insights into the characters there and how they, as you said, Alex, get the mojo back under the influence of alcohol there. There's a really good performance from Mickelson here, who holds his attention throughout there. And that catharsis at the end when he dances on the pier sort of sums up his character there. It's an effective film, and I really liked it.
I had problems, Peter, with the ending.
Interesting that you say that. Look, I found this a terrific film for many reasons. First of all, Vinterberg is such an important filmmaker, a Danish filmmaker. His films, like The Hunt and now this one and others that he's made, are full of social and political commentary. And it must also be part of his worldview that Denmark, or Danish culture or character, is very dour and needs enlivening. And I suppose that can be reflected in a number of his films. Certainly in this one, Another Round, alcohol is used as the motivating factor to try and get these four teachers to find something better in their lives, which of course does not necessarily indicate that that would happen. And what is so impressive about this film is that it refuses to make a hard and fast comment about the value of alcohol per se, but more about the value of changing one's life, but finding an appropriate and relevant way of doing that. And I think that's part of the social commentary that's part of Vinterberg's film Another Round, and that's why this film has been nominated in so many different award fields and categories already, and I suspect will be up for an Oscar as well. I think it's a terrific film, and Mickelson, I agree, is an excellent performer.
I disagree with you in terms of commentary about a broader picture. I think it does say a lot about alcohol, and I'm afraid that I don't think, as much as it does comment on the negatives, I'm afraid that's what I had trouble with at the ending, that, despite what happens, there seems to be an incredible tolerance of it in society, and that troubles me greatly as far as the whole concept is concerned. Dave, what about you?
I thought this was an amazing film. I think it goes further than just looking at alcohol and men with culture. I thought this film explored male depression. It explored midlife crisis. It explored so much about men's health. I think it went so much deeper than what a lot of people have given it credit for. When you normally consider that these kinds of movies are films like Buddy Games, these dreadful films that kind of glorify alcohol and don't show the downside, I thought this film was quite well-rounded. We also have to remember that this film came about just after the director lost his daughter in an accident as well. His daughter was supposed to be in this film. So there's a kind of morbid feeling around this film as well because of that, I think. And I think this is a really strongly powerful film.
On that point you just made there, Dave, I believe that after his daughter died, Vinterberg changed his script a bit to make it a little bit more optimistic rather than too downbeat to do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the daughter was also supposed to play Mads Mikkelsen's daughter in this as well, and she'd actually done all the cast readings and all the rehearsals, and then the accident happened, so they replaced her and gave him two sons. But that would have been hung over this film and the production all the way through.
I didn't know that, but it's really tragic what you're both describing. I mean, the movie starts with students participating in an alcohol-riddled race challenge, and much later when Martin asks his senior class who drinks, everyone puts up their hands. Now, freely admit I'm an unashamed teetotaler, purely by choice rather than need. I found the concept explored in the film engaging but worrying in terms of the message it sends, and I love the fact that each of the teachers had issues. They all played their roles well, and you care about them, even if most of the focus is on Martin. You also worry about the train wreck that you see unfolding. Of course, that is the whole point of this picture. So I found it both charming and alarming, and it provides food for thought. I believe the setup was excellent, and it developed nicely, but it fell down in the final act, which I actually found, notwithstanding all of what you've said and the reason for it, which justifies it, but I found the ending too uplifting, and that's really bothered me a lot. So I'll start because I suspect my score will be lower than the rest of you. I'm giving it a 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Greg?
I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Peter Krausz?
I think actually the ending reinforces the notion that alcohol is not the solution, because that sort of taunt and tunts, if you like to put it that way, or that cathartic dance that Mikkelsen has, doesn't lead anywhere. And I think that's the commentary that is implicit in the film.
Peter, they were drinking at the end. I mean, or they were carousing because of the celebration. So once again, alcohol was part of it. That's the whole point.
I think you may not be reading the film, certainly not in the way that I saw it. I think it has a lot more negativity about alcohol to it than you think. But it also, as Dave also says, dealing with male issues, and also there are social issues at play here. I think it's
all of those things in it, but the end scene was a celebratory one at the end of the school year, with them celebrating the fact that they'd done well as students. And I know we're doing a spoiler here, and I'm sorry about that, because you normally don't like doing so, but I think it's important in this context. You see all of those other issues that Dave mentioned, but what you take away is this upbeat. They're celebrating. You can only celebrate and have fun and have joie de vivre if you've got alcohol involved. That's what troubles me.
Alex, also in some way there's a bit sense of regret of what happened to one of those four during the film.
That was earlier, Greg, I agree. But that
overshadows that celebration at the end.
It doesn't. It starts off talking about that, and then it morphs into a pure celebration. That really troubles me. I'm sorry. I mean, this is somebody who, look, as I say, all my life I've never drunk alcohol other than, I've sipped it and I've never liked the taste of it. So I consider myself extremely fortunate. I know I'm in the vast minority in the world. I get that. People say, I don't know what I'm missing out on. Well, I've tasted it even as an adult, and I've never enjoyed it anyway. So, I feel myself, I'm delighted that that's the case, because I see it as a really major issue in society, as much as smoking was a number of years ago. But anyway, that's just my take. Dave, score out of 10.
I haven't...
Sorry, go on. Peter? Sorry.
Yeah, I must say, Alex, I'm also a teetotaler, and I don't like alcohol either, and I saw the ending of the film differently to the way that you saw it. I think it's a great film, and it's a 9 out of 10 from me.
Oh, sorry, I apologise I didn't get your score. 9 out of 10, and Dave Griffiths?
Yeah, I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I think it's very deserved of the awards that it's already won, and I think it's very deserved of the Golden Globe nomination it's received as well.
Fantastic. Well, there you go. It's certainly a movie that will spark conversation.